I don't know if they do like a blood oath in the Detroit secondary, but those guys, they play like, you know how you hear people say you play like your hair's on fire? They legitimately play like their hair's on fire. Those guys the word grit, you wanna know what the word grit means? Turn that tape on. I was watching the All 22 with Waylon today because he wanted to see what happened to Mike Evans. I'm like, "You sure?" Um, and you just watch and you're like, "This is a coach's dream." Go through I got a list here of where these guys came from. Okay, they got Harper, who played 69 snaps last night. 2024 UDFA, Chargers, Raiders, August, he ends up a Lion. Obviously, we know who Arthur Millette is, but he's been like a journeyman. He's on the P squad. October 8th, they bring him up. Rock Yassin, we know who he is. He's a journeyman. Did a great job last night on Mike Evans. Millette made probably the play of the night, depending on how you feel about the call. It was an incredible play. And that dude, you want to know what that group personified in one play was last night? And I think it was Millette getting stiff arm by Rachaad White. Back of his head hits the ground. He's up so fucking fast to get back in on that tackle. That's grit right there. Whiteside, July, P squad. He was a battle hawk. Hallett played 64 plays last night. 6th rounder, Jacksonville, P squad, and then August 2024. It's fucking crazy. And Kelvin Sheppard, who tweeted last night, deserves. I said, I'm ready to hire this guy, dude. I've seen him at the podium. I'm watching him coach the defense. I'm watching the way he got this group ready. And of course, Detroit fans are like, shut the fuck up, please. But he is legitimately going to be a hot name soon because all eyes are on the secondary. It's a 6-point line. It almost stunk, Steve, to me, with the injuries on the back end. We'll get to why I think it stunk in a minute. But just an incredible, incredible performance by Detroit's defense. And the thing they could bank on, it was a real shame, tying the rushing coverage together, Steve. Aidan Hutchinson, 48% of the snaps he's chipped. So what does that do as a tight end? Take some of those guys out of the passing game.
Hell yeah.
One of the matchups that they really would have liked to have gotten to would have maybe been Otten on a couple of these guys. And if you got and they did get the ball to him, but every time you line up, you have to have somebody for Hutchinson. And another guy that they're happy to have back is Aleem McNeil because he was moving furniture around early and often in that fucking game. So just an incredible, incredible performance. And the craziest thing was this, Steve, and then I'm going to get off my soapbox about the secondary because they were fucking insane last night. It reminded me of the Minnesota game last year where in the second game, they got Minnesota at home. Both teams are 14-2. Secondary for Detroit, I believe, is depleted. I don't know if they're depleted to the degree that
the whole defense was.
The whole defense was, as we well know. And Aaron Glenn gets these guys to play much the same way. Mm-hmm. And they come out and they're like, we're fucking playing man coverage all night. Now, they mixed in some zone and they played a little bit more zone in the second half. But I think in the first half of this game, they played over 50% man coverage. On the year, they're 30%. So it was the same way when they played Minnesota last week, week 18, 51% man. Just ballsy. It really does encapsulate the Dan Campbell thing. It's kind of like going for it on 4th down, the way they don't flinch. It's the same thing as saying like, oh, you're expecting us to probably be less aggressive because we got all these backups out here. We got nothing to lose. And we feel like we can get after the offensive line that's a little bit banged up. That's another thing that was going on with Minnesota. Let's bring the pressure and speed up the rush and coverage equation. And they did. And honestly, Steve, by the time the Bucs got to it in the second half where I thought they had some concepts open up for them, Baker Mayfield was out to lunch. I don't know what he was doing last night. It almost made me think he was banged up, the way that line stunk and the way he was sailing balls.
Yeah, high on a ton of throws. But just going back to the totality of this win, Chris, I'm sitting there Sunday night with the Niners, right, in a kind of a similar situation. And I think we talked about last week the idea of Callahan getting fired in Tennessee. And, like, my wonder is, was it really worth it? You didn't even make it to 25 games. And the guy's highly thought of. But then I'm watching Sunday night and I see Robert Saleh. And I'm like, God damn, that guy could coach some defense. And you look at see how guys respond to him. Like, it didn't matter who was going in. They were going to go in and ball out and play like crazy. And then you see Dan Campbell, and, I got a chance to talk to David Shaw when they were in Baltimore for like a half hour, and he's the new guy in that locker room without, Aaron Glenn there, without Ben Johnson. And David, he couldn't get over the command and respect that was in the locker room, and it went through one guy, and it's Amon-Ra. And so that reflects on all the way down. So then you move Sheppard, the defensive coordinator, and you just look at him last night, the way guys respond to his coaching. And I'm like, some guys are just made to be coordinators. And you got that prime time. Same thing. You got guys down. Who gives a shit? We know what we got going in, and we're going to win this game with these guys. And, I mean, to see Rocky Sin go off, come back in, get on the bike, cramp up in the middle of a route where he's trying to – I think it was that deep over route on Ibuka. Like, knowing that there's no one else, like, he's got to get back in there. And you're like, man, you can't – I don't know what's wrong, but, like, you're going to hurt us if you go out there. And then the
Bucs ran the ball 11 times. These guys like marathon runners out there.
And you see Whiteside come in and make the plays in the end zone. Like, and like I said, you were in those locker rooms. I was not, but I so much freaking respect for just rallying the guys and saying, you know what, for 60 minutes, we're going out there with this group and we're going to be damn good. And that building was awesome. They were all over that officiating crew early on, and it just
bullied. They bullied Hussey.
Oh,
they bullied Hussey. Hussey was like, on second thought.
Yeah. But to your point with D'Amico, when Dan refused to play with Otten, you see his guy. His guy's got the binder right there, and he turns around talking to him. And those guys are like ninjas. They just come in, and then they're gone. You don't even know who they are. You don't know their names. But Campbell had a plan, and I just look at him as being just an NFL lifer and knowing what all the buttons that need to be buttoned up to go into that game, knowing the story with Tampa, knowing your down secondary guys, knowing the Bucs are getting their right receivers back, and saying, it's all right. We're going to be all right because we got my guys in the locker room, and my guys are prepared, and my staff is ready to go. Let's go have it. Because every interview the last 2 weeks at Kansas City, he's talking about how close we are. And then he's talking about last night, we just need to get a third down. Like, let us convert third down.
They're good. They're a really good team. They're an elite team in the NFC, whether you're winning or you're losing. I mean, like, I happen to think Kansas City's a fucking nightmare right now to play.
Oh boy,
so,
they're the best team.
And I thought they hung in there for most of that game, and this ended up being a thing where a couple things didn't go their way. They got some things to go their way tonight or last night, right? Which I always say, like, hey, if you don't like a call, just wait a week. You're going to get it in the way you want next week, right? And that's why I always say it's not personal. And I think you make your luck too. Millette made his luck on that play with K-Dot, and there were plays like, and I will say this about Jack Campbell. Jack Campbell is a football playing Jesse, dude. That sound like my damn dad saying that. Like, but Jack Campbell made that play on a running back. They split him out like twice in the game. They split him out early in the game, and he blows up a screen.
Yeah.
Right.
That was going in the red.
Yeah, that was good. And then late in the game, 3rd and 8, they take a shot at him because why not, right? He's a big fucking linebacker, right? He's my size, dude. And he's running at the pylon, breaking up a pass on a running back. And at the same time, you can use him as the penetrator in a 3-man game on 3rd down that cleans the fucking guard's clock, dude. He's just like a Swiss Army knife. So he kind of got lost in the shuffle last night talking about these DBs, but everybody was great. Obviously, the guys up front, led by Hutch, were great.